It's finally time to talk about this. Oh shit, wait a minute. I can't lie to you, this is a video that I've been putting off a bit because I'm talking about Sonic Adventure 2. And Sonic Adventure 2, to some people, is basically, like, if you say anything bad about the game, you're essentially insulting a family member in their case. And the reason I wanted to add to the conversation of this game is that I find it so interesting that since I began content creation, Adventure 2 is a game I now see in a different light. Because for all intents and purposes, this should be like the nostalgia, like I love the shit out of this game. It was basically my first Sonic game, even though me and my brother did play a little Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 and Knuckles via the Mega Collection before it. I had a brother, so we experienced the entire game together. I have good nostalgia stories in that he and I, during the final hazard, switched off between Sonic and Shadow as we're saving the world for the first time. We played a ton of the multiplayer. I got really into the Chow Garden. Like, all of the pieces lined together where I should just sit here and be like, this is an incredible game, and I think everybody should play it. Not exactly the case anymore. The conversation on stream started with me talking about something I find interesting regarding the Boost conversation about Boost Sonic, and then it sort of evolves into talking about Adventure 2. So I'm going to leave it to me on stream to talk about it because whoo, did I have a lot to say. I do understand that, like, longtime fans, yeah, we're kind of tired of Boost, but also Boost has been through like two major iterations, like Unleashed and Gens versus Forces, Frontiers, Shadow Gens. They're essentially like similar, but very different at the same time. One of the oldest criticisms of Sonic is that they get something going with a gameplay style and then immediately switch to something that's experimental and bad. So like, why are we saying, let's switch up now? When they've got something good going with Shadow Gens. That part I don't quite understand. It's definitely like a big thing for like our community and stuff because, you know, I play an adventure style game, so naturally adventure fans are gonna be here. It's not really that it even needs to be a hybrid, like just the fun of the adventure games was the level design. Adventure 1, the spin dash is essentially just a boost. It's a boost that you press repeatedly, which that type of neuron firing comes back in Shadow Gens with spear gliding, so Adventure 2 is just straight up boost design for the speed stages, so I'm okay with having something that's like consistently good versus having like one random this is insanely good thing from the official games. It's also hard to completely displace just single aspects of different styles of Sonic. I don't think it's just talking about like, we need the adventure era back. It's not just the levels, it's not just the gameplay, it's the whole package of the more serious story and the general just vibe of the game. Frontiers, Shadow Gens, Unleashed all have the adventure vibe when it comes to like their stories and stuff. So it is kind of crazy to me personally that like Adventure 2 was my gateway game to the Sonic series essentially. And like the story feels so alien to me. Sonic has a doppelganger that was created in a lab 50 years ago. The government and government conspiracies are put in, and like there were secret experiments that actually wanted revenge for Eggman's grandfather. Like, it sounds like fan fiction, but I think that because it was the gateway for a lot of people into Sonic, it feels normal. Taking it out of that context, it's just like such a wild step from you know, myths and magical creatures and chaos emeralds. That's the weird thing. It's like, because Adventure 2 was the introduction, it felt normal. Like, when I didn't play any other game in the series, I didn't know about Tails' flight. He was just always in the mech. Adventure 2 is the Sonic game I should be the most nostalgia blind for, but I'm just not. I guess that's what happens when you become really analytical through creating a ton of content on the series. I think what really got me thinking about it too is I've been watching through Chugga Conroy's like Soul Silver playthrough, which is really awesome, by the way. And he went on a whole rant during the Rocket base of like, why don't they make games like Sonic Adventure 2 anymore? And I think that's what got me thinking about it. Like, Adventure 2 is very not Sonic, but it feels Sonic because of it being the introduction for a lot of people. Don't get me wrong though, Shadow's rad as fuck. I still think, like, story-wise, it probably one of, if not the best Sonic game in terms of hitting good emotional beats, even if the plot itself is whack as fuck. Like, I'm feeling like a badass when Live and Learn is playing and I'm the dermatologist for the Final Hazard with Sonic and Shadow. If I have to think about a natural progression, honestly, Sonic Unleashed feels more like story-wise and vibe-wise the sequel to Sonic Adventure than Sonic Adventure 2's story does, which is crazy to think about. This may be a weird comparison, but it's kind of the only comparison I have is that SA2 is kind of like Resident Evil 4. It sort of being a departure, but also being tied to the series and was the one that was wickedly popular. What's funny though is that like Resident Evil 5 and 6 try to emulate Resident Evil 4, whereas Sonic sort of went back. I mean, we had Shadow the Hedgehog. This is probably going to be the strange part, is that I think SA2 is a good video game, but not really a great Sonic game. I wanted to clarify a little bit more what I mean here, because like it's a Sonic game, but it's a good video game, not a Sonic game. What am I saying? So I don't think that this is just the case for Adventure 2, but mainly just the 2000s era video games in general, is that they weren't really hyper specific or hyper specialized. There was a lot of, the obvious word is experimentation, but there was like a lot of different things thrown into these games. Like Kingdom Hearts 2, you got the gummy ship missions. The final mix version has like the Mushroom 13. Resident Evil 4, while a more focused experience, has like the assignment Ada, the separate ways, the shooting ranges. You know, those types of extras or like different gameplay styles or different things is just kind of something about the 2000s game experience where they weren't really trying to do just one thing. They were trying to just sort of make a full, complete experience of a video game. And I don't really think that those kinds of games work anymore, because we went from, you know, we're all children and we have access to like 2 to 3 video games to now in the 2020s, you can buy like a game that is more well created by an indie developer for $5 than you could from games in the 2000s. So I think naturally, like for the sake of consumer variety, actually thinking about it, it's kind of like being a content creator where it's like the variety doesn't necessarily come from the content that you do, but from the consumer, the variety comes from the different people they watch being really good at a particular thing they're interested in. Like I do a lot of Sonic Project 06, and the person could have an interest in Project 06. They could also have an interest in Mario Odyssey. So instead of me like going to play Mario Odyssey, they go watch someone who's really good at Mario Odyssey to play it. So similarly with video games, like just as a comparison, not necessarily a parallel, like I think that games succeed a lot better when they focus on one specific thing, not because that's, well, easier to manage, but also because it's like, if I want a slow-paced 2D platformer, I'm going to play Mario. If I want an RTS, I'm going to go play StarCraft. If I want a roguelike, I'm going to go play Hades or Faster Than Light. It's like I now have all these different options available to me in which I can get the best version of a hyper-focused experience. And it's why I think that like the age-old thing of like, since 2001, like Sonic, please, for the love of God, just focus on one singular thing, because that's it in the current gaming landscape and just the current landscape of entertainment in general. I think that is like the best way to go about it. It's not only that at least conceptually, the game is easier to create, but also just more enticing as it's a specific focused experience that people are looking for. Because the story is such a departure, this is where I think it's like very similar to Resident Evil 4, is in the story being like such a departure. It's that, again, because it was the introduction to the series, all of it felt normal because we didn't have any like basis on which Sonic like came to. And basically, Adventure 2's story is entirely self-contained. Most Sonic stories are like that anyway. Specifically, Adventure 2's story can really be looked at in a vacuum, and in fact, some beats, of course, like Shadow dying, were meant to stay in that vacuum, but of course he got too popular, and yada yada yada. And I talk about all this because when I see general gaming YouTubers like make this is the top 50 games of all time. Adventure 2 is usually the one on that list. Or if I see like a why were games better back in the day thumbnail, Adventure 2's cover is usually on that list. So obviously not only is it like the most popular Sonic game, but to sort of answer the question that I pose is why doesn't Sonic Team make another game like Adventure 2? I legitimately think it's because Adventure 2 doesn't work in the landscape of gaming now. Whereas something more focused like Shadow Generations works a lot better. So yeah, that's just my, wow, this was a long segment. Let's get back to the PO6 yapping. And this I've definitely said before, I'll always shill pro Jared's, regardless of whatever, at least from what I've heard, mess that he's gotten into online. Like, his Sonic Adventure 2 review is so true, and probably what got me on the path of, like, thinking about the game in this way, is that the Chow Garden made you want to replay the stages, and what were the most fun stages in the game? The speed stages. So majority of your game time was spent doing the most fun stuff of the game in order to like raise your chow, which disproportionately makes the game seem like it's fucking great, even though there's still 2/3 of the game that are, even if you like them, I find it hard to believe there's many out there that find the mech and treasure hunting superior to the speed stages. Because I know that's what I definitely did with Adventure 2, is that other than like Pumpkin Hill for a skeleton dog every once in a while, like, I was just playing the speed stages to grab animals. I think there is a lot of mileage that could have been, like, gotten out of Sonic having the spin dash being his, like, unique thing, and every character just having their unique ability plus rolling. Or even Sonic just having, like, a better spin dash or something. Because, like, we've seen that kind of shit with Sonic Project Hero, or PO6. Fully realizing it. I assume the special place in my heart means you grew up with the game, because it will have a special place in my heart for that. But usually that sentence means like you grew up with it and have fond memories with it, which I agree, I also do. Adventure 2 also has the points for still having the best multiplayer in the series, and I think that's also a big contributing factor, because at least I definitely know that no matter who I played the multiplayer with, we always played the speed multiplayer over anything else. It's amazing how quality these games can be when you're young and have nothing to compare them against. And I mean that both ironically and unironically. Oh yeah, multiplayer speed stage pyramid rail grind. Hype. And I wanted to end this off by saying the normal internet thing of, if you like Sonic Adventure 2 still, fantastic. I also still like Sonic Adventure 2, but I don't say this for the reason as a shield. Feel free to judge me however you want in the comments on my points here. But I say that because it's not something like Unleashed with the Werehog, where like I never liked it when I played the game for the first time. Sonic Adventure 2 is a game that I absolutely adored for half of my life, and I absolutely know the feeling of what it was like to see a Sonic Adventure 2 review in the early 2010s and it just kind of trashing on the game, and like how much that sucked. And that's not the intent of this video. Like, I do have not positive things to say about Adventure 2, and I'm sure there will be more instances in which I'll talk about the gripes I have with the game, but I completely understand what it's like to be on the other side of the fence as well. And I guess the best way I can put it is that Sonic Adventure 2 is a game that works in 2001. I don't think that it's a game that works in 2026. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.